Hello everybody, welcome to this amazing game of Astellia. We're going to do Stars Tales page 1 for this video. The other videos will contain the other pages, but there are a total of 5 pages, one for each major area, each one with their own rewards located on the bottom right. If you just put your mouse over it, you can see what rewards may appeal to you. At the 50% mark, you'll get Pisces, and the 100% mark, you'll get Rhoda for this page particularly. It's a 3-star and 4-star Estelle, which is very valuable to even level 50s, because having as many stars as possible will increase your overall power. So in the first part of this video, we're going to cover how you get the check marks, and in the second part of the video, you're going to see exactly where everything is at. So for this first part, the Maglev Adventure Journal, these are blue quests you can find. They are quests that do not give you guidance, so you can't auto-track to where they are, and they will not tell you where the items are. You just have to find them. For the Forgotten Story, these are interactable objects on the ground. When you start with the first one, you'll be given a 5-minute buff to find where the second one is at. If you fail to find the second one, you have to start over back at the first one. Same goes if you're at maybe the third or fourth one. If you can't find the final one, you have to go all the way back to the first one, start it up again. Once you find them all, you'll get your check mark. They could be anywhere from 2 different objects to 5, from what I've seen. Hidden boxes are pretty simple. Just pick up the hidden boxes in all of them in the area, and you'll be getting your check mark. Monsters, defeat the monsters with the word ancient above their name, and you are given your check mark. Viewpoints are the blue pillars that you can find scattered throughout the world. They'll give you a cutscene. When you get the cutscene, you get the check mark. Field boss are 2 very large, tough enemies. Requires typically a party to take down unless you're over leveled. Red, Mane, and Copper for this area. Defeat them, and you get your check marks. Dungeon, very simple. Just run a solo version and a party version of the dungeon. Solo will give you the single sword, party will give you the double sword. Total of 6 for dungeons, so I believe this is level 25. Once you get there and finish this one up, you're good to go. Collectables, these are items that you have to find several of and then craft them. As an example, every crafting tree has a special crafting slot which has a certain amount of loot and collection items that can be crafted. So if you need to figure out which one, such as Lotus Leaf, you can figure out what you need by clicking here, and you'll see what items you need. Where you find these items will be a mystery, so that'll be up for you to solve. For collectibles, the 6 first ones are collectible, as in you just defeat enemies, and then you have to get several of them and then craft them into an item. The item goes into your quest slot, you use it, you get your check mark. The final item will be just an item that does not need to be crafted. It's just an item that goes directly to your quest tab in your inventory, and you just use it and you get it. The difference between the loot ones and the collectibles is that these are all farmed off enemies, and loot, it can be farmed off enemies, but there's several different things you'll need to do. I highly suggest you check the miscellaneous shop of every village to see if there's anything with these names if you're looking for them. And with that out of the way, you typically know how to get each of these items, so let's go ahead and break it down. We're going to go ahead and show you exactly where everything is at, section by section, and we'll start with the hidden box. So we'll be beginning our first section of boxes, Mayville. There are a total of 5 here. We're right at the entrance of Mayville, as you can see, walking right into the city. So we're going to start here. We're just going to run in, and we'll see the fountain directly ahead of us. We're going to want to look to our right, and behind the teleporters here is box number 1. Then, from here, we're going to walk over to this second floor area, and behind it, load up all the things you need to get here, but up the stairs onto the second floor patio that I like to call it, where it's pretty desolate. There's actually a chest hidden back over here. For our third one, we're going to run all the way across from here, under the archway into where the knight's quarters is, and the area of ancient fragment merchants and special merchants back here. We go to the left and into the grasslands over here. There's a chest waiting right there. On to the final 2. If we just leave this area, you could jump over there, but we're gonna just keep it mainstream here and stay on the main road so it's easy for you to follow. We're just gonna go back to the fountain near the teleporter, on our way to the area where all the merchants are. And this chest should be directly in the open. And it'll be right there in front of the billboard as soon as everything decides to load in. And finally, we're going to travel through the merchants area and out to our right, once you leave these knights, the chest is actually hidden right on the side right there. That final chest will wrap up your 5 for Mayville. Alright, leaving off from our last chest, you're actually going to walk into Shade Breeze Forest over here. And we're going to go a little out of order, I believe, for these chests, but I'm going to enter right in from this area. And there's a rock right here to our right, and a chest right in front of it. Then we're going to go ahead and get back onto the main road of the forest. Just head north. You'll see where the path over here starts making a path into the forest here. There's an enemy called Milo, which will be located on our left there. He is the white otter. From there, if you walk towards Milo and turn around, the second rock has a chest next to it. And then continuing north of Milo, we'll have another chest, well hidden this time. Up on the hill, you can see it behind that tree right here. So you just get up this hill, and there is the third chest. Next, we're on to the Shade Breeze logging point. We'll start right here in front of the quest givers. The first chest is actually found directly behind the logs here. You'll see it back over here behind the tent. One little chest. From here, we're going to go right up to this logging cabin. We can get up the hill, and right on the side of the chimney here is the other one. From here, we're going to turn around and head north over towards a cart of wood, and in front of the logs is another chest, and that should cover all 3. Our next location is the Manatran Grasslands. These two are located as soon as you portal through. You make a right around the corner and U-turn. The chest will be located directly in front of you, right next to an ancient Sabrilla. From here, you head directly north and don't stop running north. It'll be all the way on the other side. As soon as we can get there. It is quite the journey here. This is a large area, but don't strain yourself looking too much for these chests, because the second one is right there in the middle of the grasslands, out in the open, easy to find. Onto our next area, Eline Falls. There are only 2 chests here. Very simple to do once you leave Manatran Grasslands. We're heading right into the Gordo village, and as you can see right there behind Bebe, we have a chest on the rock. That'll be our first one of the area, or it might actually be called chest number 2, but it'll be the first one you can come across. We'll actually have to pass the ancient Quao onto the rocks back here, which will contain the next chest on top of the rocks. I believe it should be the second one here. Right at the top, all you gotta do is take your mount and jump on top, and this will be the second one of the area. So next up, we're gonna cover the Eline Grasslands. Right as soon as you leave the falls, you'll come across a couple of orcs, or you might come from this forked pathway over there from the falls itself. But you'll be coming up to this village for some questing early on. Hopefully you did this questing and remember it if you're level 50. If not, well, here's a village here with some questing. Right behind the teleporter, there'll be a billboard, chest behind the billboard. From here, you would have gotten some quests to head over to the orcs. The orc encampment will contain 1 chest. You'll just enter in through the main giant torches here, and from here it'll be to your left. It'll be under the tent right next to the orc, as you can see there. He's not aggressive, so you should be alright there. Head north directly from here. Stay along the left side wall here. You will find the chest hidden in some tall grass. I usually angle my camera downward so I could see it, and it would be right there. That should wrap up all 3 for the grasslands. Moving on directly from the grasslands onto Spira Highway. This one is probably the most confusing for many, but right from the last chest, you'll see an ancient wolf and Redmane himself. This is one of the bosses. You'll see that later in this video. But we're going to keep heading up towards the east and come across an encampment. In this encampment, you'll see Nielsen chilling out, and right next to this box and barrels is a chest. This counts for Spira Highway. Get onto the stairs here. You'll see the portal into the next area of Arau Forest. and there will be a chest on your way out. That'll be 2. These are not exactly the first and second chests, but they're the first 2 you'll come across. As soon as you teleport through to Northern Aral Forest, we'll then begin our journey heading towards the first camp you see on your left. Once you get into camp here, behind this cart is a chest. From the encampment itself, the final chest will be on the exact opposite side. Head up past the mushrooms, and you'll see this large shrine area. The ruined altar, the chest will be right on this ledge, and that should be the 4 for Spira Highway. Next, we have Northern Aral Forest, directly from the last chest we found for Spira Highway. Next to the ruined altar, we're just going to head to the next encampment. Encampment should load up, and once it does, you'll find your first chest in the back of a cart outside the small camp. The second chest is inside the camp itself. Head to the back, look to the left, and chest on top of the boxes. You just jump up to them and you can grab that one. Then leave the camp, and the final chest for Aral Forest is actually in the open field right there. For Denair Field, it says on the checklist 1 out of 1 for me in this current update, but I believe it is actually 4 chests, as the achievements give you 4, so I'll show you the 4 chests and hopefully it fixes it up. Directly from the last chest we left off for Northern Aral Field Forest, we got the first chest right on the stairs when you enter Denair Field. From there, we're going to stay along the right side wall, go around the rock. You'll run into an area with a bunch of beautiful large trees and demons. So once we get into the demons, we're just gonna run to the back, stay along the wall. When you get to these roots of this tree here, on the opposite side, you'll see a little area for you to go into, and the chest is right under the root. From here, we'll see the world boss Copper. Hi, Copper. Say hi, everybody. We're going to get to the river here and follow the river towards the bridge. Once at the bridge, the chest will be on the right side underneath. Here. Then jumping back onto the main pathway, we'll be running through the Colossus into the next camp. This camp area where you finish one of the quest lines. There'll actually be a chest behind Amy, right next to the pillar here. As we leave Colossus Haven from the Denair Field chest, we're doing Southern Aral Forest. So we just head far south along the path, staying on the main road. We'll run into Megter Ruins and see a small encampment on the left. You'll see a blue pillar there. You should pick that up. But inside the tent behind Tagarin is one of the chests. Leaving this camp and heading towards all the orcs at the far back, where the road kind of pitchforks into 2 different areas. Follow the one alongside all the orcs, which should lead you up to an orc captain, I believe. Raid leader Orwe. And behind the bush is the second chest. Heading over to Lanini Falls, as soon as you get back on the right main path from the orcs, you'll walk up to the actual waterfalls themselves, where all the slimes are, and make your way to this middle, the biggest one in the middle here. Here that is. If you've done the quest here, you'll have a giant colossus there too. As you can see, way in the distance, there is a chest on the rock under the waterfall, so you grab that one. Then you can leave this area and just try to stay on the left side wall. It'll be up in this general area. And then once we leave the area, it'll be just about when you cross over to, I think it's called Giant's Transport. You're going to be looking on your left side for a chest by a tree. That should be your last Lanini Fall. For the final set of chests at Giant's Transport route, we're going to start in Rumbling Axe Outpost. Teleport here if you didn't know how to get here. There are 3 chests, one located behind the barrel next to the reservoir inside the outpost itself. Moving across the way, if you got the quest for the Cauldron, might be familiar with this area. The first cauldron here has a chest right directly behind it, right there. If you fail to interact with the cauldron, just press F. It'll fix that for you. You can press F to interact with anything that includes the chests themselves. We're going to get back on the main road, head south. Do not follow the main road to the exit. Instead, continue on south past the gladiators. We're going to come across a small pool of water here with a small waterfall. On there, there's a fallen pillar that will contain your chest. And that will wrap up all the chests for your Ragferant first page. Hopefully I didn't miss any. If I did, just list them down in the comments down below. I'll be sure to pin any missed chests, but I believe I got them all. I had to go off of memory. I did find all these chests beforehand, and yeah, I couldn't double check if I've got them all, but hopefully that's the last one. We'll be moving on to monsters next. For the monsters section, we'll also be covering the field bosses. For monsters, there are a total of 10. You could typically find them with their brethren. So for example, a Kyo soldier will be where all other soldiers are. So in the beginning of the game, in Shadebreeze Forest, before you head down into the Rutless Dungeon area when you're doing your first quest, all you have to do is turn to your right, and the ancient Kyo soldier will always spawn here. He does not move. Just kill him and get your reward. For the ancient black bear, it's actually with all the brown bears in the logging point right next to this house. Ancient bear will be behind next to the dungeon realm. Again, he doesn't move either, so he'll just always be there. If he's not there, just swap channels and look for the next one. Next, for ancient Sabrilla, you should have seen it during the chest quest, but when you get into Manatran Grasslands from the prior area, just make a right behind the box is your ancient Sabrilla. Does not move. Next, heading for the Large Beak Quow, we're going to start at the Gordo mini village here in Aline Falls and head west. Directly west from the village, the Large Beak Quow is found right before the falls. Next, we are on to the Ancient Young Wolf. As you're heading north, a little bit east, northeast on the main path here, you'll see these Blood Spear Orcs. Right before you get up to the stairs here, you're going to make a hard left and just walk up to this ledge or cliff, and up here will be the Young Wolf. Right next to the Ancient Young Wolf here is actually Redmane directly north, so that knocks out Redmane and the Ancient Young Wolf. Redmane with 241,000 life, so take care of these two at the same time if you can. For our next ancient, we have the Poisonous Mushroom. As we go to Northern Aral Forest from the Orcs, we'll just head on the main path, your first outpost to the left. You're going to make a hard right into all the mushrooms. And your ancient mushroom will actually be near these two big pillars, standing right at the front. It does not travel. Again, not there. Just change channels up here and try your best to find one that spawns. They don't have a very long spawn time. Next up, we're on to the ancient Dart Oni. Continue along down the main path till you come across all the other Onis, the mothers, and then the little tree area with the demon pool over there. To our left, up on the hill, you'll see this big tree and then this formation of rocks. Go into the corner of the map over here, just so you can see. And the Dart Ancient Oni is up on the hill right there. Does not move, will always spawn there. For the next world boss, Copper, he's not next to any of the other ancients, so we did Redmane with the Young Wolf. But Copper, if you look on the map here, we're going to start here just south of the turn, right before you cross the bridge to the Colossus, and there's the outpost there. We're going to walk up to the bridge. I find the easiest way is to actually just turn right at the bridge and follow the river to the back. Copper is actually behind that outpost against the wall here. So if you follow back here, oh, someone's already fighting Copper. Good thing I got here. Copper has 296,000 health, so make sure you have a big group to handle it. He doesn't deal a lot of damage, so if you have a couple of heal Astellias, you could probably whittle him down in 15 minutes over time. But that should handle the world boss for you. For the next ancient Black Blood Fighter, we're going from the Rockmace Outpost here, where there's a chest back over here on the map in case you need to see where it's at. We're gonna head straight forward and make a right. Right out of the outpost, directly ahead of us is the ancient Black Blood Fighter. For the next ancient monster, the ancient Kaluk, as you leave the orcs from Megta Ruins and you pass these Kalooks, the blue ones. You'll see that there's this side path with the giant tree as you get view of the falls. Take this side path around, and the ancient one will be waiting for you midway between. For the final ancient Black Blood Berserker, as you're exiting towards the end of the world, you're going to look to your left. The ancient Black Blood Berserker will be kind of next to these 3 pillars of flowers, I guess. But he's right here on the map, should be facing this way. And that would be the exit right there to the dungeon. He'll be your final ancient. For the viewpoint section, the first one found right as you come off the hill from the very beginning of the game, just a little west of Mayville. You run alongside the pier here, and at the end of the pier, you will find your blue pillar. From the blue pillar, just simply interact with it, and it will give you Mayville's viewpoint. For the second viewpoint, the Nadine Holy Spirit Guild, right from coming out of the last area into Manatran's grasslands, there is a blue pillar of light right next to this pillar as you walk towards the guild itself. And just right from the entrance, Sabrilla and Chess should be over there. For the third viewpoint, I'm going to call it Ellen Falls. Ellen Falls, I'm going to start at the falls itself where all the Gordos are, and we're going to head north alongside here. Pay attention to this kind of broken down ruins of a place, and you will actually see the blue viewpoint at the top of this hill right here next to it. Check the minimap if you need to verify the location. For the next viewpoint, Northern Arau Forest, as you're walking past the mushrooms from where you came from Orcs, first outpost, and the ancient mushroom over there, we're going to continue along the main path. Look to your left, and as you're walking along the main path, you really can't miss it. It's right here. For our final viewpoint, Rock Mace Outpost, we're heading south from the Colossus Heaven right past the bridge. You're just going to take the main road, head south. Eventually, while heading south, you'll run into Megter Ruins, which will have the orcs on the right, and then the path further in to the left. You'll also have this outpost as you walk up. The outpost right in front of this cart has the blue pillar you need to interact with. You'll have Edward and Tagarin here. For this next part, I wanted to be on my alt so that I could show you the quests and exactly what to do for the 4 Maglev adventure journals. So first, we're going to start with Keo behind the cave. Right outside Rutless Dungeon, you would have to have run this, so you should know this area. Ururu will have a quest for you at a certain point in level after you get so far into the game. It's not very long after you complete Rutless, so you'll just need to come back here if you missed it the first time and pick up the quest. His quest will require us to find the lost fish box. So from here, we're going to head up the path towards Milo, which is one of the defeatable enemies that we fought before. It's actually going to be next to one of the hidden chests we've already discovered. So as you turn the corner up onto this hill, you should have noticed this random barrel before that had no purpose. It now has a purpose. Inspect the barrel. This will then begin the next fish box investigation. Head southwest a little bit, right next to the ancient Keo that we would have marked earlier. Here, there is another barrel. A fish will be attacked. Once you kill him, you just report and complete your Keo quest. Our next quest, Melancholy of the Northern Nights, will be found near the logging point. Go behind the tents here, and you should see Meyer. Meyer will give you a quest regarding losing the history of the Knights. Unfortunately, the history of the Knights is found far into the future, so we'll travel to the next area. Once you load into Manatran Grasslands, you're going to run to the ancient Sabrilla, just make a hard right, and behind one of the trees is going to be a piece of paper. Loot that paper. That will be the first page. Second will be a little more far north. We will fast travel. I'm going to follow the main road so that it's easier for you to follow, but if you know the direct path here, it's directly in that area over there. As you get to this rock and structure, second note will be here. Third and final note will be further up north. As you begin to pass the village, you'll see these areas here of ruins. We're actually going to walk over towards the ruins, and the final note will be here. To start the next quest in Illean Grasslands, as we're going up the stairs, we're going to look to our right and you'll see the bloodstained Dorn. We're going to ignore him and go past him towards the back wall here, and there will be Varto. Varto will have the blue quest. Pick it up from Varto, and our first will be to report to Meyer at the... find Varto's leather from Karza cultists. The Karza cultists are actually the orcs, so you can start killing them off. I should be able to find a letter pretty quickly here, but just in case, we'll fast forward through this.
I'll dance with you.
There's Bardo's letter. Ugh, my language here. Bardo's letter, or Vardo's letter. It said Bardo. Okay. Translation errors, just like my speech. Simply click on the letter here. It'll read the letter to you. From here, you need to find the front half of the counterintelligence report. Located through all of this. Go to the center, make a right. And this will be the top half. Read the top half, and your quest is done. Nielsen's located a little further up north. To take the main road back to where we kind of started the quest with the bloodstained Dorn to our right, and up the stairs till you see the camp to your left. Right there. And Nielsen's where we turn it in. In order to do Flag of the Northern Knights, you have to finish the prior Northern Knights adventure journal. If you didn't turn in that quest, he will not be there. In Northern Aral Forest, we're following the main road up until we get to these stairs here. Once we're up at the stairs, we're going to make a left and walk straight back this way towards this ancient statue. Behind the statue, if you've turned in your quest, you should have Meyer here. So he technically moves here to give you another quest. However, there is a current glitch with the quest that requests that you step on and destroy Oni eggs. This, I have no idea why it says that, but it's not true. Just follow the main path up towards this tree here, and what it really wants you to do is inspect the broken flagpost. When done, it'll tell you to find the rubble on the second flag. We're going to continue down the main path again till we get to the next area with a flag. Once we're here with the Onis and the Lynxes, do be careful if you are low level, but you travel behind this rock in this large set of bushes next to the Dark Priest. You'll find the next broken flag. Inspect the flag, and then we must speak with Knight Hendrik. Knight Hendrik is moderately well hidden, but since I'm a low level, I don't want to run through all the demons, but I'll show you where he's at. As you're walking along the main path towards the broken road here that goes over the bridge or the outpost, Knight Hendrik is actually behind this very outpost, so follow the tree around here. Do your best to avoid damage from the demons. If you do, clear them out.
Is it time to work?
Knight Hendrik is here. Prepare for a fight when you do speak with him. He is a traitor. And from here, I believe you can auto-travel to Cannet. I lied. It's not with Cannet again. It's a translation error. But you speak with Meyer, the person who gave the quest, turn it in, and you are complete. To start our Forgotten story, we're going to do Traces of the Star Collar. Starting just like we did for the Mayville viewpoint, it's going to be near the pier, but turn right. There is a billboard here. It's interactable, so simply interact with the billboard. This will give you a piece of lore and your 5-minute buff for Traces of the Star Collar. You know you're on Traces of the Star Collar, just put your mouse over the buff, it'll tell you which one you're on. The second portion to this is found right next to Tarrant and the guards that give you a quest. Interact with that, you'll get the second bit of lore. From here, we're going to head towards Mayville, but instead of turning into the village itself on the first left, you're going to skip it and stay along the main road. The second entrance, however, has the billboard we're looking for. Interact with this billboard, and your quest will continue. More lore, saddle up, head into the village, and make a right. We're going to go past all of the merchants here. Go outside the town, make a right, and you'll see a broken billboard. Smash it on the ground, interact with it, and that will complete your Star Tales journey. You will still have the buff, but when you check your log, it should be checked off. For Keo Rules Forgotten Story, as soon as you leave that previous bulletin board up on the hill, go out towards where the Keos are. You may have actually picked this up while grinding with the Keos before, but finding the second one wasn't probably on the agenda. The first area here is actually this little stone tablet in the middle of the road heading towards Rutless Dungeon. Interact with this to get your 5-minute buff, and you'll know you got the right one with Keo Rules. It will not stack with any of the other prior buffs, it'll override any other buff. If you lose this buff, you have to start from the beginning, so just make sure that you have it while looking. Continue down the path towards Rutless Dungeon. Along the riverside here, as we get closer to Rutless, you may find the next kind of sandy tombstone. This little tablet has the last one. There are only 2, so once you interact with this, you should be complete. The next Forgotten Tales of Handamar's journey. As you're heading towards the logging point, where the quest givers are, look to your right on this destroyed cabin, and up on this hill will be an interactable piece of paper. This will begin Handamar's journey. Handamar's journey will be listed as your quest. You'll head back into the Keos forest, stay along the left side, and you'll see a piece of paper kind of on the ground in the back here. This will continue Handamar's journey. From here, now we will return to the logging point. But we're going to follow alongside under the bridge this time. Can get back there, follow this path, stay along the side of the wall here, go under the bridge. You can enter through any side you want, but when you pass here, you'll see a white box. These white boxes are the next part to Handamar's journey. The final white box, if you just circle around here, go towards the dungeon entrance, the final white box should be here, and that should clear up Handamar's journey. Under the 4th Forgotten Lore Science followers, when you move into Manatran grasslands from the first starting area, we'll come up to an area over here with this pillar in the rock on the opposite side of the blue pillar where you get the viewpoint. Interact with this letter. This letter will give you lore and then your buff. Scion's followers, just make sure you're following that. There will be a total of 4. We're going to go into the guild. And to the right, as soon as you enter, is another letter on the ground to continue the notes. Continue onwards into the back corner of the Star Colors Guild. You have the north side. There will be a note along the wall. Grab that here. And then we need to run all the way out and start heading to Align Falls. and there will be a note behind a rock. Follow this way out, stay on the main path so you don't get lost. Unless you do get lost. Sorry to hear. Behind this rock to your left will be the final note, and that'll finish up Cyan. Next up on the Forgotten Story, we have the Wanderer's Diary, Chapter 1. Elaine Falls right there with the Gordo camp way back over there. Following the main path forward with the giant castle-like ruins here. The viewpoint is on the opposite side of this, and right up the hill here, we will have the starting point for the Forgotten Lore. So we have Wanderer's Diary, Chapter 1. The second one is found straight up the main path to the other end of an encampment way up here. Once you reach up these stairs, go up a couple of flights, look to your right, you'll see a camp with 2 tents. Jump off over there, and behind the tents is your final piece to the Wanderer's Diary. It's only 2 bits long, so once you get here, you're done. For the next part of the Forgotten Story, we have the Secret of the Arau Forest. The Arau Forest is pretty big, but as soon as you get in here and past the mushrooms on the main path, you'll see the viewpoint here. And then to your left is this small ruins location with a book in front of it. Grab the book and this will start the chain. Get your lore and make sure you have the Secret of Arau Forest. Backtrack alongside the main path here where the mushrooms are. You'll find a book in the middle of the kind of grass area. That'll be part 2. These next 2 parts are pretty long. I'll probably fast forward through them, but guide you where we're going. We're going to head over to the demon pool, and they'll be on the right side along the main path. Once you reach between these 2 trees along the main path, head directly towards them. You should see the pool of water with all the demons. The 3rd book is located here. Next, we want to get back on the main path just to make this next part as easy as possible. Again, we're going to fast travel. It'll fast forward to the next area. Just stay along the main path the entire way. It's on the opposite side of the map. As we get to Lanini Falls, instead of following the path anymore, we're going to go left up the hill. Right next to this tent is the final book. And that should wrap you up for the Secret of Arau Forest. For the Wanderer's Diary, Chapter 2, we're going to start at the river here, in between northern and southern Arau Forest. You can see the bridge over here. Waterfall, Copper's right behind us, and the page will start us here. It is another long journey, so we'll fast forward towards Lanini Falls. We'll follow the main path just so everyone can keep up. Just like before, don't take the main path up there. We're going to branch off and go to Lanini Falls. Instead of going up the hill directly, we're just going to follow this grassy patch and kind of curve up on the hill, and it will be in the far back. And that should be it. The final Forgotten Lore for the cult plans. We're going to start just a little south of the Rumbling Axe Outpost. We're going to pass the gladiators here that head towards the dungeon for Northern Arau Forest. We're going to act like we're heading on our way out towards the next area, and then to our right there will be a big waterfall. This is an area where you typically do a quest, should be a patrolling enemy here, and you'll find your starting scroll here for cult plans. Get your lore, and then head north, and we're gonna head to where the cauldrons are that rocky pool of water where you might also find Tracker. From here, we're going to enter the pool of water, but stay on the left side. Follow it around until you come across this grassy patch, and the final scroll will be here. That should wrap you up for all your lore bits. Onto the collectibles. First, we need to figure out what we need to craft. Our collectible will be found in Alchemy, the Manatran Leaf, and you will need 15 collection material Manatran Leaves. You can find these as you get to Manatran Grasslands, leaving the previous area, and kill Sabrillas or kill Wildflower Poise. Having a group do this will make it easier, and if the whole group is trying to get the items, that'll actually just make things worse. So however you try to farm these up, you can buy them off anybody, but these are the enemies that you loot to get them. Make sure you grab 15 for a blue collectible. Next up for collectible materials is the Orc Necklace here. You can find the craftable item under Archaeology, Special Crafting. It'll be the necklace. To get this, you pretty much just kill any of the orcs in the aligned grasslands right outside of the village that'll give you the quest here. Just keep killing them. You'll need about 15. I believe the item is blue. And then you just craft the item. You can defeat any of the orcs here. It is a pretty rare item, so the grind will be pretty hefty, but you can get it done pretty quickly. Just craft the item after getting 15, and you're done. For our next collectible, we have the Poisonous Mushroom Spore Powder. This will be found in Cooking. For here, we need 30 of the spores to make the item. The spores can be found as you enter Northern Aral Forest. The very first enemy you'll see are all these mushrooms. Any of these mushrooms will count for the powder. Just go ahead and start your killing spree. Next on the collectibles list, we have Stiff Lynx Fur. You're going to need to look into your crafting for leatherworking, special crafting, and then Stiff Lynx Fur. Here you will need 40. They are a common drop, but trust me, that won't feel so common when you're working on them. On this section of Northern Aral Forest, as you pass the Onis, you will eventually come across some lynx on your left side. This will be one of the best areas to farm them. Standing in the middle right here, you should be able to farm any of these lynx. Just run around, grab the ones on the far end. You got about 6, 7 at a time. Just keep killing until you get all 40, craft the item, and you're done. For our next collection bit, we have the nucleus of the superheated Geobiong. I actually have no idea how to pronounce that. This one was a bit confusing for me to understand, but you're actually going to find this one in jewel crafting, special crafting, and it's the core of the overheated giant. You need 4 core of the overheated. Specifically, it drops from Rampaging Colossus. I have not gotten it to drop off any of the manipulated or passive Colossus. It is specifically the Rampaging one. So you'll want to farm around here in Colossus's Haven. It's where you get a couple quests. I would ignore the Awakened ones and just go straight for the Rampaging ones, as they were the only ones to drop the cores for me. You need 40 of them as they are a common item. Next on our list is Collected Disgusting Slime Fluid. To craft this, you'll need to go to your Alchemy Special Crafting and collect 30 of the Disgusting Slime. Disgusting Slime can be found at Lenini Falls from any of the blue slimes here. Just go on a killing spree. They'll be around in the falls. You'll need 30 of them and just craft them and you're done. For the final collected item, it's going to be Tracker Draga's Black Essence. This is not a craftable item. This is one you just have to find. We're going to start at Rumbling Axe Outpost, and as you leave here, there's going to be the big pool of water with a rock in the middle of it. It'll look right here on your map. Here we're looking for an enemy named Tracker. This is a very rare drop on him. It's a purple item. It cannot be traded, so once you get the item, it'll go right to your quest items and you just use it immediately. Tracker is the toughest enemy here, so if you're around this level, he'll be a rough enemy to fight, but you could just come farm him at a higher level and take the essence from him, and that'll wrap up your collected version. He patrols this entire pool, so if you don't see him on one side, just walk to the other. For the loot items down here, we'll first show you where to get it in the world and then how to buy the remaining portion. So first, very important to know what we're getting. Gordo Lotus Leaf Fruit will be found under Alchemy Special Crafting, and you can see that you need both seeds and the body fluids. The body fluids are bought from a vendor, and the seeds are found here with all the Gordos next to the Ancient Quow. When you're in the waterfalls along the edge here, there are collectibles that will spawn on the ground. There's nothing you need to fight here unless something aggroes to you, of course, but you're going to run alongside the waterfall and look for a small bowl of seeds. It will not have a name, so if you find other collectibles, such as olive oil, ginger, or your gathering set, that's not what you're looking for. It's just essentially a small bowl of seeds, and it will just have a loot icon on it. They can spawn anywhere alongside the river here. And there's one. They can also spawn in the village. Just keep your eyes open. They're hard to see, but they're these tiny little seed bowls. They do not spawn, as far as I've seen, anywhere outside of the water area. So stay in this area, go back and forth, and you'll find them no problem. Pick it up, and you need 15 of them. Then you'll need to buy the other section from a shop I'll show later, and then you can craft the item. For the Temple of Nadine Shrine, we're going to go into the Star Colors Guild itself. Go past the 2 guards. Inside here, it could be in various locations. This is similar to trying to loot something like the Gordo seeds we got before. You'll need to look around the ground of this entire area. I would say stay in the main side. Don't go into the small hallways on either side. And just look for a small book. And there's our first one right here. You will grab this book. This book will add it to your inventory. In your quest log, unlike the last one, this doesn't require you to craft. It just goes right to your quest log, right-click it, you flash red, and it's done. This is not tradable. You cannot farm these for anyone else. You just need to pick them up and use them yourself. For our next loot piece, we have Fragment of the 9th Centurion. You can find this under Archaeology Special Crafting. You will need 2 items. The Centurion Fragment and Centurion's Magic Circuit. The Centurion Fragment can be found at Lenini Falls. You will need 5 of them. They will be a collectible loot that you find on the ground, very much like the Gordos. And they're going to be a relatively large rock. They can spawn anywhere within this water area, but they'll look like this big chunk of rock here. Just loot this little piece. Should add it to your inventory. You'll need 5 of them. Then you need to figure out where to get the Centurion Fragment to craft the item. You need to complete the list. This is actually found as a reward in your Star's Tale. So you need 40% of Star's Tale to be complete in order to get this reward. And if you've been following this guide so far, you should already have that. So once you collect it, you can craft your item. The rocks can be found anywhere in the water alongside the Lenini Falls. There's even one in the center there. You just need to make sure you look around. Alright, to wrap the remaining 4 loot items, and we also need to talk about the Gordo Lotus still because we only collected, you're going to need to come to Mayville. This is the Merchant's Quarter side of Mayville, located right here. The Miscellaneous Merchant is going to carry the remaining goods of our items that we need, so let's talk about them. First, we have the insignia of the Iron Fist Knights. That can be purchased for 100,000 Asper. The Gordo Lotus Fruit will need the body fluids down here for 1,000. And then the next item we need to craft is the Goshenite. Goshenite can be found in Jewel Crafting, Special Crafting, Sharply Goshenite. You need the Goshenite ore and the Goshenite exclusive. This can be found at the Miscellaneous Merchant as well. The Goshenite exclusive gem is here for 30,000. And then you have the ore loot box. What the ore loot box is a loot box with a chance of dropping the ore you need. It's not that high of a chance either, so you will need to spend a good amount of money. What this does give you is random crafting regions, and that's it. There is a chance you'll get it. I've had a friend go through 200 to get theirs. I've had someone get theirs in the first 10. So just make sure you have the Aspers to open these loot boxes and pray that you get the Goshenite ore. When you've gotten the Goshenite ore and purchased the exclusive, you can craft it. Moving on to the Red Mane. The Red Mane Tusk can be
It's
purchased
cheap.
here.
It's very cheap.
So giant mane of red mane, 10,000.
Good luck.
Then you'll need to hunt Redmane the world boss to craft it. You can find the crafting material in tailoring, special crafting. You'll need the heart, which is a very low drop on Redmane. Farm him till he drops it. It is tradable, so if somebody gets it, you can get it from them. And then, of course, you purchase the mane to make the Dorn to use the item. Finally, the Mark of the Evil Senior Demon. This will be copper. It's a rare drop for a broken Demon of the High. And so when he drops this, you will need to collect an invitation from Elios. This invitation is a 70% reward, so get your list up to 70% and you'll get the invitation for free. You only get one, don't destroy it. I don't think it is destroyable, but you only get one. As far as I know, you cannot buy this. So once you farm copper, the second world boss, you'll get the item and have completed your list, and that's 100%. Hopefully this guide has helped you out. Do not forget to do your dungeons. I know I didn't cover them because I don't think I need to run them to tell you. Open the U menu, go to Solo, Rutless, Crimson Rock, and Arau Cave, Party, Crimson Rock, Rutless, and Arau Cave. That will wrap you up with everything you need for your first list, give you 100%, reward you your 2 Astels. If this guide was helpful to you, oh, sorry for my words, just please give me a like. Let me know that it worked for you. If I missed anything or there's information I can clarify for you, feel free to comment. I will do my best to get back to you. And I'll be working on the next 4 pages for this to get you guys the footage you need to find everything you want. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, good game.